There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of Jayden Maiava love out there. The Athletic, they listed out their quarterbacks 1 through 18, 1 through 136, and Jayden's way down on the list.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC, part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you are going to watch the show on YouTube, just pick the platform, download the podcast. This show's always free, and you know how much this show always appreciates your support. Coach Riley, he chose his words back in the spring following camp, and he chose, these are his own words. I'm sure he chose them carefully, tried to be very measured about his response, but he was talking about his presumptive starting quarterback, 2025, Jayden Maiava, and his ability to lead the Trojans. Quote, I think the big goal for us is trimming some of that fat off of this. Can you take the good? Certainly try and enhance that. But then can you take some of the negative plays, some of the forced throws, and can you remove those from his game? Because he's really grown. This was said during, he did an interview with Craig McElroy, Always College Football's podcast. Talked about this before. At the time, he was discussing Maiava's development heading into the 2025 season. What Coach was trying to emphasize during that interview was really focusing in on Jayden's decision-making and how to reduce those errors, those forced throws, the really bad interceptions, the pick sixes. I mean, get rid of those and then build on his strengths. But my everydayers, you've heard me address the quarterback situation before. This team in 2025 is going to go as far as Jayden's production on the field. Period. End of story. So I gave you Coach Riley's words. Here's what the Athletic said about Jayden. Maiava played well in moments last year, but also displayed some really confounding lows. USC's offense was inconsistent as a result. Maiava will be in his second year under Lincoln Riley, who is one of the best quarterback mentors in the sport, but he'll have to trim the fat from his game and eliminate 3 to 4 bad mistakes that stall the offense. Otherwise, the Trojans will be boom or bust on offense in 2025. What's so ironic about that statement is Coach Riley has a much improved defense going into its second season with Antonlynn and that scheme. So I think most anticipate, USC's defense is going to improve. It's going to get better just because of that continuity, the players they return, not to mention the infusion of talent they brought in as well, especially through the transfer portal, supporting that defensive line. So then why isn't that same, and I'm using finger quotes, expectation, I hate that word, expectation, why isn't that same expectation being applied to Jayden and his continuity and the comfort level working with the offense and Lincoln Riley? Like I said, it's so ironic that USC's success in 2025, it is literally predicated on Lincoln Riley's offense either being a boom or a bust. You never thought you were going to hear those words used together with Lincoln Riley team being successful. Will the offense be able to get it done? That wasn't on my bingo card, I'll tell you that right now. But that's how a lot of people see it right now. And again, if Coach Riley is going to highlight Jayden's strengths and weaknesses, others are going to run with it. They're going to do the same. And that's fine. Look, that's what the offseason lists and the polls are for. They kill time. In this case, we got 44 more days to kill time before USC kicks off against Missouri State, beat the Bears. So, 44 more days until questions start to get answered. Because that's all we have right now. A bunch of questions looking for answers. And we won't see those until, they suit up. They start playing the games. So, again, the Athletic, they put out their list. 1 through 136 nationally. We're going to focus in on the big conference itself, all 18 quarterbacks, because it looks like it's predicated on the idea that the guys who have not played are already better than Jayden Maiava. And they have others who have little experience, lesser experience than Jayden. They're going to improve for some reason, but they're not giving Jayden the same benefit of the doubt. At least that was the appearance I got, my interpretation after, kind of going through the list and seeing, why do they have these guys slotted here compared to here? So, I mean, let me ask this question. Who has a better supporting cast to help Jayden's numbers look better? When you're looking at all the different quarterbacks and their supporting cast, who has better wide receivers than Jayden? Maybe Ohio State. That's it. Maybe Oregon. Maybe. Anyway, here's the list. Starting at the top, you got Drew Allard, number 1, Luke Altmyer, number 2. They have him as the 13th best quarterback in the country. Francisco Mendoza, number 3, number 17 in the country. Nico Iamaleava at number 4 for UCLA, number 19 in the country. And then you go number 5, Dante Moore at Oregon. For some reason, they believe he's the 24th best quarterback in the nation. Julian Sayin at Ohio State is number 6, 32. You've got Damon Williams Jr. up there at Washington. He's at number 7 and number 33. Mark Gronowski is number 8 at Iowa. He's considered the 39th best quarterback in the country. Dylan Raiola at 9. He's number 40. You got Aiden Childs at Michigan State at number 10, number 44 in the country. Preston Stone, number 11, Northwestern. Okay, number 45 in the country. Bryce Underwood, number 12, Michigan, 50th best quarterback in the country, 50th. And then Jayden Maiava at 13, and he is the 54th best quarterback in the country, according to The Athletic. After that, you got Edwards at Wisconsin, Kalek-Manis at Rutgers, Singleton at Purdue, Lindsey at Minnesota, and then Martin at Maryland at number 90 in the country. I look at the list and I broke it down into 2 sections. I really don't have any issue with the first 4. Okay, let me repeat those first 4. Drew Allard, Luke Altmyer, Mendoza, Iamaleava. The reason why I'm okay, I'm not going to quibble about 3 and 4, they have the most game experience despite, look, Mendoza transferred in from Cal, and then you've got Nico transferring from Tennessee to UCLA. So I guess if you're looking for the hiccup, the negative, their first year with these programs. The positive, the flip side of that argument, well, you know what? They played a lot of college ball. They can make that transition easier. So again, that's why I'm okay with those first 4. But what is the love affair with Dante Moore at number 5? I really need some help here. I mean, he played for UCLA before he benched himself. And his stats at UCLA were terrible. I mean, 52.5% completion rate, 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 213 passing attempts. Compare that to Jayden Maiava. Almost 60% completion rate, 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He did that on 169 passing attempts. So it sounds like, well, they think Dante Moore is just going to develop. And I'm sure he'll be better, but I mean, how much more better do they think he's going to be than Jayden? And who do you trust more to develop a quarterback? Coach Riley or Will Stein up there at Oregon? Why is Julian Sayin at number 6 so high up on the list? Because he was highly recruited coming out of high school? Because he transferred from Alabama? Or was it his 5 completions with a touchdown on 12 pass attempts? That's his stat line from last year. I think it goes back to I think that the supporting cast around him is why they think he's going to be successful. Well, give Jayden Maiava the same benefit of the doubt. Damon Williams at number 7. Look, I can see his upside, very athletic. He's one of those types of quarterbacks that make defensive coordinators go, God, we got to cover one of those guys who can use his legs really well. I can see his upside. Throwing the ball, he was 82 for 100 out of 105 passes, just under 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. You got Mark Gronowski, the transfer from South Dakota State, who's now at Iowa. He put up his numbers at South Dakota State. He's now playing at Iowa. Kirk Ferentz is the head coach. We know Kirk Ferentz, he's all about defense and punting. Will he stop being that helicopter head coach? Will he allow his offensive coordinator to, use Gronowski's strengths? Dylan Raiola at number 9. Why is he higher on this list than Jayden? We know he was highly recruited coming out of high school. We know Lincoln Riley wanted him. But, we saw him play last year as a true freshman. USC beat him, Jayden Maiava. So, again, why is he at number 9? Why is Aiden Chiles at number 10? I'm sorry. That's just odd. Nice player, but his very limited skill set. Even more limited with his supporting cast. So again, why is he at number 10? Why is he 3 spots ahead of Jayden Maiava? At number 11, you got Northwestern's quarterback, Preston Stone. At number 11, that is wild. He played at SMU last year. He transferred from SMU because he was replaced after, 3 or 4 games? But apparently he's still better than Jayden Maiava, according to the people at the Athletic magazine. Man, I got a tired tongue today. Apologize. Number 12, Bryce Underwood. Dude has never taken a snap in college football, yet he's ranked higher than Jayden. Why? Because of how much NIL he's making? Let's just cut to the chase. Everyone after Jayden, it doesn't really matter. The bottom line is this: he should be higher than number 13. There is a dearth at the quarterback position this year in the big conference. People say, well, what does that mean, Mark? It means there's a lack thereof. There's a lack of quarterback play. Not very many good ones. Jayden has shown he can be really good at times. Just look at his play that he had. Look at how well he played against Notre Dame. He's also shown how he can make some really critical mistakes. Same thing. Watch what he did against Notre Dame. He showed a lot of moxie in that comeback win against Texas A&M. He also got some breaks in that game. I mean, probably fortunate didn't have a couple of interceptions there as well. So the question is, again, why doesn't anyone believe that Jayden's going to improve and get the same benefit of the doubt as all those other highly ranked quarterbacks ahead of him who have less playing experience or none at all? Because I don't get it. I really don't. It just feels like, this is a great talking point. Let's see how we can upset everybody and point out that Jayden Maiava is just not a very good quarterback. And Lincoln Riley is attaching his cart to that horse. If that's the case, could be a long season. Is everybody else right? Is everybody else's untrained eyes right? Or is Lincoln Riley correct? And everyone else being uber critical, too critical, not giving him a chance, not giving him the same opportunity to improve that they kind of anticipate everyone else will be. 2 more segments to go on the show. USC, stop acting like sheep. Remember who you are. Take the lead. Don't just fall in line. Talking about out-of-conference scheduling. Talk about that in the next segment. And then we're going to wrap up the show. We're going to say goodbye to Lee Corso. They did that on the ESPYs. but he actually still has one more ESPN game day to go. Yep, it's summertime, full summertime sports, baseball. By the way, I'm going to the Dodger game Friday. I'm going to get myself a Ron Say bobblehead doll. Whether you are all about baseball, whether you like golfing, maybe you do, maybe you like soccer, maybe you do. Okay, not going to hold it against you. FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting. You're following the action, so why not make things a little bit more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can. You can get in on the game while your friends are hanging out at the beach. You can be hanging out making some money. It's easy to use. It's fast to pay out, which is really nice. And it makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. Whether you're placing a same-game parlay, watching a bet right into that ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like you're part of the action. And that's always a good thing. If you want to be new to FanDuel, perfect time. New customers. If you bet $5 and it wins, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets. That's simple. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. There's been a lot of talk lately about out-of-conference scheduling, playing 9 conference games versus 8 conference games. Y'all know how I feel about watering down the out-of-conference scheduling. I think it's a terrible idea. And bottom line, we're just being pragmatic. It does not help your team prepare for tough games. When you open up against Missouri State, Georgia Southern, I get it. USC's third game is Purdue. Typically, when you open up conference play, things are going to be a little bit tougher. Those games don't get you ready for those tough games. I liked USC opening up against LSU last year. It had everyone's attention. And look what happened. You like the result. Didn't like the overall big picture result, what happened with the season, but you like what happened. USC beat LSU. They beat Texas A&M at the end of the year. 2-0 against the SEC. USC should be playing Ole Miss this year. Instead, Missouri State's on the schedule. I'm old enough to remember. I'm sure some of you are old enough to remember this as well. Remember when USC fans literally screamed at the top of their lungs, demanded that USC get UC Davis off their out-of-conference schedule? Was not that long ago, 5 years ago. That game got canceled. USC had said, you know what? We'll scratch out that $725,000 check to UC Davis. Say thank you, but no thank you. We have higher standards here at USC. We don't play FCS teams. We just don't do it. Now, what's funny is you look back, that game was supposed to be played in 2021. There's probably a good chance USC loses that game. Remember, that was 4-8 season. That was the beginning of the Clay Helton era and the beginning of, eventually, the Lincoln Riley era. Again, USC used to love those tough out-of-conference games. You bring in Lincoln Riley, and now it seems like they're trending away from those tough out-of-conference games. Weird, I know. Speaking of weak out-of-conference, did you see what Indiana did recently? We know they went to the playoffs last year, but they played a terrible schedule. And they're banking on that working again. So that's how they're scheduling out-of-conference going forward. They are taking terrible out-of-conference schedules, and they're going to inject it with steroids. They recently canceled their home-and-home series with Louisville. They did the same thing with Virginia. These aren't, elite top-tier FBS programs. They're good programs. They're respectable programs. You could hold your head up high saying, you know what? We played Louisville. We played Virginia in our out-of-conference schedule. Nothing wrong with that. USC's done that with Virginia. They played Louisville in a bowl game. Nothing wrong with that. This is who Indiana plays this year out of conference. Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State. That's terrible. I would stop being a USC fan if USC lined up an out-of-conference schedule like that. And I'm not exaggerating. I would seriously consider stop supporting the program. Ohio State this year, they host Texas game 1. Last year, USC didn't host, but they played LSU neutral site. I love these types of matchups. It gets your team focused, prepared. After that Texas game, they're going to host Grambling and then Ohio. I'm okay with the Ohio game, but Grambling, come on. And Ohio State's got some nice home and away series lined up in the foreseeable future as well. I'm sorry, I'm not going to support USC doing the whole 1+1+1 out of conference schedule model. One marquee game, one FCS level team, one low level FBS. No. I want the Notre Dame game every single year. I want one California State school on the schedule every single year. And then give me another mid-level FBS team. Mountain West, whatever. A Georgia Southern type of team. I'm okay with that. But no, I don't want to see a Texas and then a Grambling and then a California State school. To me, that is just, again, why? Why water it down? That's not how I was raised. It's how no one was. If you were raised on USC football, that's not what you were taught. So stop learning bad habits. Just like if your friend, if your best friend jumped off a bridge, are you going to do it too? Of course not. And all this has to do with the controlling the direction of college football, especially the playoffs. In the SEC, the coaches, they're complaining about playing 9 conference games. Their commissioner, Greg Sankey, he would like to get them to go to a 9 conference game schedule so they can push forward with the 5-11 playoff format, which is 1 conference winner from each of the 5 conferences and then 11 at-large bids. They think, well, hey, if we play 9 conference games, we can continue to push. We play the toughest, conference schedule in the country year after year after year. Part of their manifesto. They say it now, and they only play 8 out of conference games. The big conference, they're pushing the 4-4-2-2-1-1, whatever it is. 4 automatic qualifiers for the big conference, 4 automatic qualifiers for the SEC, 2 for the ACC, 2 for the Big 12, or whatever they're calling their conference nowadays. Again, Greg Sankey, he would like to push forward with a 5-11, but he can't get his coaches in the league to say, yeah, we'll play 9 conference games. If they don't, there's no way the Big Ten is going to support that 5-11 format. They're just not. And here's the other thing with it. If you decide to go that route, week out of conference schedule, you're just going to encourage crappy games to get the best 1-loss record so you can get one of those 11 at-large bids. But in the interim, you're going to lose the casual fans. I think you're already losing them. I don't want to see USC become one of those sheep doing what everyone else does. I just don't. Playing lesser talent doesn't benefit the team. Or is everyone ready to tell me, oh, Mark, it's okay. We're ready to play UC Davis now. We'll do it now because we want to make the playoffs. Well, 5 years ago, you didn't want to play them. And there were fewer playoff berths available. So again, you can't have the cake and eat it too. And I don't want any of that cake. All right, one more segment to go. Did you watch the ESPY Awards? I didn't watch it. I saw a little bit of highlight here, highlight there, but they sent Lee Corso out in style. He deserved it. He's one of those pillars of college football. By the way, Jakeem Stewart, he was hanging out there. True freshman at USC, hanging out, doing the red carpet thing with the celebrities. That's the power of USC. That's that fair market value working at NIL. Anyways, Lee Corso, this wasn't his final, swan song. This was just kind of the prologue to his final appearance. He's got one more game day appearance to do. Ohio State, they're going to host Texas. He's going to put the headgear on one more time, and then he's done. Farewell. Thank you. Goodbye. Appreciate everything you did. By the way, did you know that Lee Corso was 17-0 when he picked USC, when he put on that headgear? It's true. Lee Corso loved USC. Loved USC. He played at Florida State when he was in college. He was a teammate of Burt Reynolds, I believe. Coached at Army, Louisville, amongst other places. Indiana. True legend of the sport. One of those ambassadors. I'm fortunate. I'm glad I was able to grow up watching him, everything that he helped make great about college football. And let's be honest, I know the ESPN game day direction has really slid a lot lately. It's gone downhill. But in its heyday, man, it was a fun show. It was a lot of fun. It helped create what college football is today. I mean, right now, it's the NFL, college football, and then everything else after that. Hopefully, they don't lose that too much. The direction that's going right now, that's what made college football so special, is that there was enough separation between the college game and the pro game. But right now, they're getting really close to overlapping. Not a fan of that. Anyways, so yeah, he was at the ESPYs. He was basically given a salute. And part of that salute included the Spirit of Troy marching up on stage, giving him a concert, his own private little concert. You had the Song Girls. You had some of the Spirit Squad. I'm not sure who put the USC war helmet on, but they put that on top of Lee's head. Couldn't quite get the chin strap under there, but got it done. Needed a little help getting that victory salute straightened out. But again, that was part of the charm. That was part of Lee's charm. Every now and then he would do something a little awkward. You go, oh, but it's Lee. You love him. Again, he was game day. Now, did he stick around probably a few years too long? Probably. It was hard watching these last couple of years. Really hard sometimes. But again, he's also one of the last pieces of tradition to college football. And now it's almost over. And it sucks. But life goes on, right? Gonna miss you, Lee. Can't wait to see that. I'm looking forward to which mascot head he puts on when Ohio State hosts Texas. I have a feeling it's going to be Bevo's head. I have a feeling. Anyways, so you say goodbye to Lee Corso. Maybe college football is getting a new character, but it's going to happen over there at Fox Sports, the big noon kickoff show. Fox Sports and Barstool Sports are nearing a deal that would include Dave Portnoy on Fox's big noon kickoff and maybe some additional Barstool content over there on FS1. That's according to Ryan Glassspiegel. So this is just another move the big noon kickoff show is trying to make. They've taken a lot of viewership away from game day. They're trying to get even more. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure exactly what his role is going to be. They really didn't define it, but Dave Portnoy, he's got one of those loud voices. You know him. He does that one bite pizza challenge. He's the owner of Barstool Sports. So when he joins the Big Noon Kickoff show, he'll be part of the show with Urban Meyer. You got Matt Leinart. You got Brady Quinn, Mark Ingram, the running back from Alabama. You got Chris the Bear Felica. Remember him? He used to be on ESPN's Game Day. He's now part of the Big Noon Kickoff Show. And then Rob Stone is the show's host. So I'm interested to see what they do with Portnoy. Obviously, I think it's probably going to have some sort of pick angle, even though that's kind of what Bear does. But Portnoy is all about gambling. I mean, you watch him on any type of game day, whether it's the NFL or college. Dude's got a lot of money riding on games. That's all I'll say. So there you go. That's some of the stuff that's going on. Trying to get, out of conference scheduling going. Get these, the next playoff format finalized. Saying goodbye to Lee Corso. Saying hello to Dave Portnoy. And then, we kicked it off in the A block in the first segment. Jayden Maiava, quarterback situation in the big conference. Why is he so low? 13. He's literally closer to the bottom. 13 is a lot closer to 18 than it is to the top half. Jayden should be in that top 5 category. Like I said, I got no problem with the first 4. But after that, yeah. Woo! That was a terrible list. Terrible list. And I will never apologize for being opinionated. I try and keep it respectful, though. Some of my everyday listeners pointed this out to me, so thank you. I will not change. This is who I am. I don't even think I could change if I wanted to. I'm set my ways. And that's it for this episode of Locked On USC. This episode is done. I'll be back again tomorrow. We'll have a Friday rant, of course, at the end of the week. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.